Happy Wednesday. My name is Robert, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're reading through Proverbs 7. So glad that we made it through the halfway point in this week. I mean, it's Wednesday, Thursday's right around the corner, then we got Friday, and it's the weekend. If you're struggling this week a little bit, you are almost there. We're reading out of the Message version. If you're new to Proverbs or new to the Bible, don't be afraid to jump in here. I'm not pushy or preachy. I'm just glad that you're here this morning. Proverbs is a good book for instruction, for living, wisdom. Whether you're part of a faith community or not, it is definitely just good advice for living. Lots of good lessons and stuff here. So we're going to jump in here, Proverbs 7. It is titled Dress to Seduce. Dear friend, do what I tell you. Treasure my careful instructions. Do what I say and you'll live well. My teaching is as precious as your eyesight. Guard it. Write it out on the backs of your hands. Etch it on the chambers of your heart. Talk to wisdom as to a sister. Treat insight as your companion. They'll be with you to fend off the temptress, that smooth-talking, honey-tongued seductress. As I stood at the window of my house, looking out through the shutters, watching the mindless crowd stroll by, I spotted a young man without any sense, arriving at the corner of the street where she lived, then turning up the path to her house. It was dusk, the evening was coming on, the darkness thickening into night. Just then, a woman met him. She had been lying in wait for him, dressed to seduce him. Brazen and brash she was, restless and roaming, never at home. Walking the streets, loitering in the mall, hanging out at every corner in town. She threw her arms around him and kissed him, boldly took his arm and said, I've got all of the makings for a feast. Today I've made my offerings, my vows are all paid, so now I've come to find you, hoping to catch sight of your face, and here you are. I've spread fresh, clean sheets on my bed, colorful imported linens. My bed is aromatic with spices and exotic fragrances. Come, let's make love all night. Spend the night in ecstatic lovemaking. My husband's not home. He's away on business and won't be back for a month. Soon she has him eating out of her hand, bewitched by her honeyed speech. Before you know it, he's trotting behind her, like a calf led to a butcher shop, like a stag lured into ambush, and then shot with an arrow like a bird flying into a net, not knowing that its flying life is over. So friends, listen to me. Take these words of mine most seriously. Don't fool around with a woman like that. Don't even stroll through her neighborhood. Countless victims come under her spell. She's the death of many a poor man. She runs a halfway house to hell, fits you out with a shroud and a coffin. And that's the end of chapter 7 there. I was looking at that and realizing that it's not so much talking about the woman per se. It's more about sin always creeping around and being in those places where it just kind of creeps up on you. Maybe it surprises you. Maybe you put yourself in some situations that you knew was going to be a little iffy. I had a friend of mine that was sober off of alcohol for a long time, and then he thought it was okay to just start going to the bar again. And he would just go there, he would order a non-alcoholic beer, and he was just there to socialize and be there with his friends, right? But then as more time progressed, he started to let down his guard and then started to drink more heavily and then fell right back into it. And I look at this chapter with a lot of similarity to that. It's just walking into some situations sometimes and knowing that that might not be the best street to go down, but we do it anyway. So friends, I just encourage you today, just think about what is the next right thing. I heard somebody say that once and that really just stuck with me. It's don't worry about like what the mountain of things that you have to do in front of you. Just worry about what is the next right thing. What's going to get you from here to here? Okay. And then we can worry about the rest of it later. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Don't look at the whole elephant. You'll never. So, well, that's all I have for this morning. It's always been great corresponding back and forth. If you have any comments on any verses or passages that may have stood out to you, please just drop them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to engage in a conversation and see where that goes. But happy Wednesday, my friends. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.